Hey everybody, it's Eric from epautos.com, your libertarian car guy. This week I'm driving the Mercedes A-Class, which is their little mini-me car. And one of the things that strikes me about it that's interesting is that here we've got essentially the same full-width flat panel screen that you'd find in the S-Class and the E-Class, in which, 2 years ago, you only found in very high-end cars like the S-Class and then the E-Class. And it's now filtered down to relatively inexpensive cars like this A-Class, which starts around $36,000. So it's another example of how not just performance but also luxury has been kind of democratized, and features that were once restricted to really exclusive high-end cars are now readily available in much more affordable cars. And that's good for us. But I wonder whether it's good for the manufacturers. What I mean by that is I wonder whether somebody coming into, say, a Mercedes dealership who looks at this car and then looks at an S-Class and notices that, you know what, it's very much the same car in a lot of ways. Now, granted, this A is a lot smaller than an S-Class, so you do get the bigger car when you spend a lot more money, but as far as amenities go, as far as luxury goes and technology, the difference is not what it once was. So it's just an interesting dynamic to see how things have trickled down, as David Stockman used to say, and it'll be interesting to see what the effect of all of that is long term on the sales of high-end cars. I've commented before that when it comes to exotic performance cars, really, to a great extent, all you're getting now is the exclusivity, the cachet, I guess, of owning something that's six figures or higher than six figures, because six-figure performance is readily available for a third as much. A good example of that is the Mustang GT that I had last week. 460 horsepower, 3.8 seconds to 60. That's pretty phenomenal. If you spend $100,000, you might get slightly quicker to 60. Not really noticeably quicker, frankly. I drive these cars all the time, and I'll tell you that seat of the pants wise, you can't tell the difference between getting to 60 in 3.8 seconds and getting there in 3.6 seconds. That's something that you could only tell by a stopwatch. And even on a racetrack, you're talking about half a car length, maybe a third of a car length. It's not like one car is going to blow the other car out of the water. And when you're talking about top speeds, once you get to a car that can go 170, 180 miles an hour on top, how many people ever even get a chance to go that fast? And even if you did, we've got a Clover. Look, we're going 39 miles an hour in a 55 zone. So in a minute, I'm going to get to show you the performance that you get in this $35,000, $36,000 entry-level Mercedes to help you get around a Clover. But anyway, the point is, you got, just a whole horn of plenty, a cornucopia of phenomenal choices for not that much money. And I think it's part of the reason, frankly, that the car industry is in this state of ennui, because cars have been so perfected and have gotten to be so good, there just isn't that much difference anymore, one versus another, really, other than price, and they're struggling to figure out a way to justify those prices. Now, here we go. I'm going to punch around the sky and just show you what this entry-level Mercedes can do. Bye-bye, Clover. See you later, Clover. There he goes. Bye-bye, Clover. So you see how easy it was to blast around that Clover in the entry-level car. Now, granted, it doesn't have the roar of a V8 S-Class, but the little turbo four-cylinder in this thing, it hustles. In fact, this thing's probably, I'm going to have to look it up, it's probably substantially quicker than any of the V8 S-Class models were as recently as the 90s, which isn't that long ago. So I'll have more up at epautos.com. Should have that review of the Mustang up today, too, provided I can generate some mojo down at the coffee shop. So thanks for listening, and we'll catch up with you again soon.